round of your Simraceway Lola World Championship Series here today from Sonoma International Raceway. What an event we've got for you, and it truly is the end of an era here at Simraceway. It's the end of March, it's the end of the Performance Driving Championship, and it's the end of this series, the Lola World Championship. Taking a look at qualifying standings at the moment, it's Lounger that leads away with a 129.906. We've got B1386 in second, Lola Fox in third, just 2 tenths away, with Extremely Fast Man in P4, and Luke Sky rounding out your top 5. Ken's 24/7 sits in 6th place at the moment, with Devil Bevin lining up behind him just in 7th. 8th place is Andre Parter, Diamondback in 9th, Linus rounds out your top 10, with Riberio in 11th at the moment. But in terms of the standings, what an event it really is going to be. There's been plenty of talk about who may just clinch it today going into round 4, who's got the upper hand. But when you take a look at the standings, it's tied between Asa Recola and Seacon. Both of those drivers are on 40 points. We've got Lounger just 2 points behind on 38. Extremely Fast Man is also on 28, so he's 10 points away from P2. Then it gets a bit spicy with Ken's, Luke Sky, Lolin Fox, Devil Bevin, Ikepu and Stuntman Mike all separated by just 5 points. So it's definitely all to play for. As you take a look at the final few minutes in qualifying, Lounger's definitely playing for it all. He's currently pole position with a 129.727, and if that transpired into a victory, well, you never know. We may just see him in victory lane claiming his first championship. We'll have to wait and see, though. We've still got plenty of action. Yeah, as we just take a look, there's a bit of a moment there, I think, for, I think it was Andre Parser. Yeah, it was. And he's gone wide again, and he's got to be quite careful, though. It's a very difficult corner to get right, that hairpin, and luckily he's done. Oh, it's Riberio that's spun as well. So Riberio has had a bit of a moment, and that's going to cost him dearly, and especially this late in the session as well, with a lap this long. You're looking at about a 1:30 average lap. He's only got about half a minute to get back to that start-finish line before he runs out of time. But as Lounger moves in towards the hairpin again, just take a look at a couple of the cars in his way at the moment. He's got a little bit of traffic up ahead and a little bit behind as well, but none that should pose an immediate threat to the end of this lap at least. He's not on a hot lap at the moment. One man who is the man in second, 3 tenths away, B1386. He makes his way through the S's into these last few corners, and you take a look at where his championship presence lies. P13 with 15 points. It's not been a bad endeavour, but he can definitely do a lot more. And I just want to say massive congratulations as well to our cameraman for running in the Performance Driving Championship, doing a well-earned championship victory earlier on. So massive congratulations there. As B13 enters the final corner, let's just wait and see what he can do. Kicks out the back end. He needs to find himself 3 tenths of a second. He won't, well, he should have time to do one more lap. Yeah, he's definitely got enough for one more, but does he improve this time? No, he doesn't. And that could be crucial because Lounger is already making his way through turn 2, having not improved as well. So P1 and P2 will be setting their times in about 1.5 minutes to decide who will be the pole sitter. Lolin Fox is back in the pits with Extremely Fast P4. Luke Sky on a lap at the moment, about 20 seconds in. 20 seconds away from finishing, I should say. Just making his way towards the final hairpin now. He's coming on a 1:12. He needs to try and find himself about 4 tenths of a second. He dives his way through the final corner, gets on the power nice and early. And now will make his way down the start-finish straight then. So here comes Luke Sky over the start-finish line. Is it enough? No, 1:31.0, not quite. Andre Parser got himself another chance as well. Riberio back to the pits. Here comes Ken's 24/7 over the start-finish line from P8. Needs 2 tenths for P7. Can he improve? No, he can't. Big disappointment there for him, but Lounger back in the pits as well. B13 still going, despite a very wobbly exit on the back of that chicane, and I think that's going to cost him. I'll be very surprised, in all honesty, if he can find himself 3 tenths of a second now. It'll be a very, very hard task to do, considering how much tarmac he's got left before the end of the lap. It really is running out here. It's kind of desperation. Runs extremely close to the wall with a bit of oversteer as well, but as he comes across the start-finish line, who is your pole sitter for the race? It is Lounger. He holds on. B13 can't get it done. Lounger is your pole sitter for the final round of the Lola World Championship Series. We'll be right back with you with the full race. But just before that, we've got Luke Sky 80 about to finish his qualifying lap, just making his way towards the chicane. That's over. He's doing pretty damn good at the moment, I've got to say. He's looked much tidier this time round, and as we quickly analyse his championship position as well, Luke's had a pretty solid run, sitting in P6, tied for P5 with Ken's 24-7, who had a bad qualifying session starting in 8th, so Luke has got a great chance to clench 5th position today, and will that chance improve with a better qualifying result? The answer is no. He stays in P6, but that's not bad at all. We'll be right back with you with the full finale very shortly. Hello everybody and welcome back to round 4 of your Performance Driving Championship. The Lola World Championship Series is about to come to a close, but the question is, who's going to be the man to take victory? It's Lounger on pole. It's Lounger, the man in P2 in the standings. He's 2 points away and he gets a good start off the line. B13 said his best ever time here in qualifying, but it wasn't enough for pole. Will it be enough to sweep round the outside for victory? Extremely fast on the inside as they climb their way to turn number 2. A big lead there by your pole sitter Lounger. Got a simply fantastic start. Extremely Fast 3, Nolin Fox in 4th as the rest of the field swivel their way through. We've got Devil Bevan with a bit of an error in P11, and that is going to cost him dearly. He won't be happy with that one at all. And in terms of his championship drive, it's not really been there for him this season, but we'll wait and see how it progresses in the later stages of this race. Still a long way to go. 20 laps, of course, here at Sonoma today. So a long afternoon and on a track which doesn't encourage overtaking. It's one where it's all about defensive driving. We've witnessed this so many times throughout March in both the Performance Driving Championship and various other races as well, including the Evolution X. But it really has been a race of defensive driving. If you can get in the lead early on and you're good at holding your race in line, you're really going to have to make a pretty big error to let another car pass you. A B13 currently chasing at the moment. And a bit of a spin there from Lounger, not something we're used to seeing. Extremely Fast is pressuring, absolutely blistering pace there by the man in P3 as they dive in towards the final corner for the opening time of the afternoon. Look how close the man in 3rd is now to the man in 2nd. Very entertaining stuff here at the opening round. Oh, the closing round, I beg your pardon. Luke Sky down to 11. That's not where he wants to be. He's fighting with Devil Bevan. He's just been passed. And as he makes his way now down the main straight, that's going to be a bit of a pain for him. He's climbing up through turn 1. He's trying to get around the outside. And Luke Sky, the man who's P6 in the standings, it's not had a very good 4th round. It's all about maximising your points today. You do get a drop round, but you don't want your drop round to be a DNF or a really bad point score. Let's take a look back at what's happening in the battle for 2nd position, though. There's B13 and Extremely Fast once again exchange blows as they go through turn number 6. So it's been a great start to the race for your pole sitter Lounger. Let's just keep an eye, though, on what's going on P5. Andronic Passer up to P5. As you said, we'll keep an eye on what's happening there. He has had a simply great start to the race, diving through the field. And don't forget, Kepi the Legend, who's in P9 at the moment, has got to try and just watch on from the sidelines today. He's not racing with us. Luke Sky still, having just passed Devil Bevan, now sets his sights towards Bolinas in 8th position. But the main focus has been on the battle for 2nd place. It has been pretty intriguing, to say the least, as they come towards the end of lap number 2. Lounger now with an 8-second lead. Extremely Fast in P3. Oh, holding on P2, I should say. B13 in 3rd, with Nolin Fox 4th. And I'll tell you what, Andronic Passer is catching these guys. 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th are gaining, and we didn't really anticipate this. Whenever we've seen the Evolutions drive, or any other car for that matter around here, it has been very much a pairings war, what I call, where cars just split up into relevant opponents almost, who are the speed as them or equally as fast around this circuit, and they end up fighting with them for the entire race. But here we've got a big group of maybe 4 or 5 cars starting to form now, all fighting over 2nd position. And this late in the championship as well is going to be a very difficult affair to get through. But through the S as they come then for the 3rd time. Extremely Fast, holding on strong at the moment. As we've said, he hasn't really put a foot wrong. Things for these Formula 3 slipstreaming's a lot easier, so it does open a little window to overtake. There's not that many opportunities to do it, but the ones that exist are a lot easier than when the other cars these drivers sort of experimented with earlier on in the year, especially in the Performance Driving Championship when we visited with the Audi R8 Le Mans, and that was a very difficult affair for Pro Drifter 1000 to pass Acer and Collar. We reference this now whenever we talk about Sonoma, but this truly is a very difficult circuit to overtake on. It's almost like, well, trying to build a house with no hand, isn't it? It's not really going to be the easiest of tasks. Sure, it can be done, but you're going to need a little bit of help and maybe a little bit of luck on your side as well. Now, but talking of luck, that was a big moment there for Nolin Fox. And luckily caught hold of the car, though. It stepped away from him, and it was almost like he was just trying to do some sort of aggressive slow dance with it, as it veered across the dance floor and then back into his control once again. Entertaining to watch, but for him, I'm sure definitely a scary moment for inside the cockpit of the Lola Formula 3 car here at the home of Simraceway. That's Sonoma. Got a bit of a battle forming there, as well as Devil Bevan has repassed Luke Sky. So the man who's fighting for a top 5 spot in this championship this afternoon, definitely going to have his work cut out for him as he looks to go to the inside. Takes a bit too much speed through there though, unfortunately, and that will prevent the pass for just a little longer. Ribeiro through the S's, just 7 seconds away from P5, and if he can catch the end of Andre Passer, it's going to be pretty much an easy ride to the end, because you've got Andre Passer, then we've got Luke Sky, B13 as well, all those guys fighting over second position still at the moment. That's across the line to start the 1 quarter mark in this race. Lounger leads a 1 minute 30.692. B13 follows in P2. We got extremely fast in P3. P2, I beg your pardon. It was extremely fast. There was a bit of a timing error there. Andre Passer still holding on P5, and Ribeiro starting to catch him now. In fact, oh, and he will with that. Andre Passer was all over the place, and that's the second time he's done that coming out of turn number 3. He's got to be so careful. He's going to start treading lightly. I think those tyres are not the happiest right now. Luckily they're not Pirellis, otherwise it would be an entirely different story. But I think right now those slicks are just a little bit too cold, or the grip's not entirely there yet. The elevation changes that Sonoma offers and the sheer difficulty and complexity of the circuit is not playing into the hands of the man who rides in P5 at the moment. Ribeiro really starting to put the pressure hammer down. Lolin Fox still chasing in P4 now. B13 starting to succumb a little to the pressure being mounted upon him. And through the final few corners they go, just in towards that hairpin. Take a look at what's going on there with Andre Passer as well. It's going to be, I think, pretty thrilling race for him today. It's not like you're trailing around in an Evo. These cars are very, very different beasts altogether. And don't forget, if you do want to get involved here with Simraceway, or let us know what you think about the races today, head over to simraceway.com and press the bright yellow chat button, or simply leave us a comment in the YouTube section. Or if you're a bit of a Twitter person, then you can always tweet us at Simraceway, or my personal Twitter at LiamJSimRacing. I'm sure we can get some fan interaction with you guys on this show as Lounger expands his lead to 6 seconds over Extremely Fast. But just taking a look of what's going on through the field, Lolin Fox has now kind of been the man on the move, up in P4, chasing B13 and really halting his progress on chasing down Extremely Fast, who's been able to get a blister away off the line. His opening stint to the race has been simply brilliant. And look at Ribeiro, P6 after the error a few moments ago. We've got a little bit of a duel forming as well back in P9 as Luke Sky looks to get his race back in tip-top shape. Diamond back in P10, trying to hound him there and prove otherwise at the moment. Just wait and see how things progress. So right now it's a start lap number 7 out of 20. Lounger a 130.2 for 131 flat from Extremely Fast. That is the difference in pace between your leader and the man in second. Lounger has been simply flawless so far this afternoon. But as we say, still a long way to go. We're approaching the halfway mark in this race in just a few laps' time, but he really is pulling away, and we know it's a defensive driving course, but I think Lounger's just going aggressive. I mean, he's flying around this circuit, really attacking it. It's great to watch. As we say, keep an eye on what Luke Sky's doing down in P9 as well. Devil Bevan in his sights, but still a few seconds away at the moment. He's got a long way to go. Ribeiro holds strong in 5th. Lolin Fox tries to cement P3. It's going to be a very difficult task indeed. So a long afternoon ahead of him for the man who's 7th position in the championship standings, and it's going to be a great help that the man who's just 1 point in front of him, Luke Sky 80, is behind him. Ken's 24/7 is behind him. Seacom and Asa Ricola are not racing, so he's got a big chance here to get a big finish, get a bad drop round, or, well, get 3 strong finishes and drop the bad round. He's going to see propelling to the top 5, that's for sure. Lola Fox doing a superb job at the moment in 4th position. See if he can further improve his form. One man who's always been there or thereabouts. I'm sure it's only going to improve as well as they start lap number 8 at 1:31.0 for him and a 1:30.6 for your race leader. So that time extremely fast, only 7/10 slower, but we say only 7/10. Being 7/10 slower than a race leader over 20 laps is ideally not where you need to be. The B13 and Lola Fox is still trying to chase down the man in second, but extremely fast. We just did get information that Lounger had a mistake going in towards turn 2, so maybe just trying to push a bit too hard. You can't blame him, you're in the lead, the adrenaline's going to kick in, and if you just take your eyes off the ball for one moment, that car slips away, or you go on the sand here, it's really going to cost you. It's not like a Silverstone where you can simply turn the car around and get, you know, your race back underway again like nothing ever happened. Here at Sonoma, the slightest off track is going to cost you so much time, and it's going to prove to be valuable come the end of the race. But Lounger still holds a strong 11-second lead as they go in towards the halfway stage in this race. They're about to start lap number 9 very, very shortly. As B13 does get a bit closer once again to the second place man at the moment. Luke Sky up to 8th though, so making his way back through the field. He's definitely pointing back in the right direction. He's good to see, but unfortunately, it's not where he needs to be in terms of the championship, is it? Race leader crosses the line once again. Lounger, this is where he made the mistake before here, just coming in towards turn number 2. That swift right-hand apex, and handles it very well this time into third gear. You can see he was a little bit more conservative with the throttle, just to make sure that he didn't make an error. And I think that has in turn really made this a much better lap for him. Last lap was a little bit slower, of course, due to the error. But back towards something that's really going to spark, I think, a lot of interest for the viewers out there is that main battle between 2, 3 and 4th position. B13 and Lola Fox all sort of conjoining at the moment because extremely fast is under a lot of pressure, and now B13, can he get to the outside? And it was very swiftly shut by extremely fast, and in all honesty, I don't think that was his full intentions from the start. It was almost a bit of an impulse decision to move to the right-hand side of the track. And it certainly looked it was a panic moment, and he just about holds on for now, but these Lola cars are sounding absolutely beautiful here at the sights and sounds of the Californian desert. Diamondback's still attacking Neville Bevin now as Luke Sky propels himself, as we said, up to 8th. That leaves these two drivers to engage a war amongst themselves, let's say, as they go in towards that final hairpin for the 9th time today. So almost halfway into the race now, a couple more laps to go until we get full clarification of that. But Lounger that time a lot quicker and a lot slower for extremely fast, that's for sure. A 1:30.6 for the man in P5, who's Ribeiro at this stage. We've got a lot of brilliant entertainment coming up for you tonight. Don't forget, we've still got 2 more races in the Performance Driving Championship, including the B race and the A race of the 900 to 1100 skill quad, brought to you here live from Watkins Glen with the McLaren M8C, so you won't want to miss that. But for now, we've got to keep our eyes on these gorgeous Lola Formula 3s, and you can also get your hands on a Formula 3, but on the real thing. So if you ever fancy yourself as a bit of a driver, you can head over to the Performance Driving Centre website and book yourself a date with our professional driving instructors, and maybe try a hand to be the next Lewis Hamilton, you never know. But through in towards the final hairpin once again, and Lounger still holding an incredibly strong lead at the moment. As they make their way up through turn number 1 again, do the trio of P2, 3 and 4. That's B13, Lola and Fox chasing extremely fast. You've got to feel like that there has to be some sort of silver lining in the cloud for Lola and Fox. As we said, he's been very good all season long, but just needs that big step, that one big race to propel him to glory. And we'll be hoping this could be it if there's a couple of errors from the guys in front. 15 minutes into the race, this is where the errors start to come in small doses. We saw Lounger have a moment a few laps ago going in towards turn number 2, and I think now we're going to start to see a few more drivers suffer the same fate. Not maybe to that extent, or maybe to a bigger extent, but we're definitely going to see a few more mishaps, whether it's going wide or outbraking yourself. There'll be a few more miscorrections, I think, at this stage. We're going now in towards the final corner. Lola once again, and it still can't get closer. We said this from the start here that Sonoma is a very tricky place to even take without no driver error. The B13 almost better than the action there, didn't it? It's extremely fast, just wide going out towards that hairpin, and it's going to cost him. Look, they're almost tailing each other through there. That is extremely close racing indeed. And Fox has got the best seat in the house, it looks like to me. But there's still plenty more to come. Lounger, 15 seconds in front. And there's an error we were talking about. And he went flying through there, and it was very, very lucky not to end up that for his race. Currently just 2 points away from Asa Okola at the moment. 13 points with Asa Okola sat on 40, who will only make 3 out of 4, so does not feel like he needs to drop down. Again, that 12 out of 20 about to come to a closure as Lounger decides to extend the gap again. Results is Lounger left king. He goes, sets the time of a 1 minute 30.448. Match here at 1:30.5 and extremely fast now. He's going extremely fast. It's the fastest that we've seen for him all afternoon long. Man racing the race, and more importantly, trying to pull away from the pressure that's mounting behind him. May just have found that silver lining. The two weren't quite as fast that time round. It's going to be a case now of can he repeat this over the next few laps, or was it a one-time thing? And apologies there for any technical difficulties. Trying to sort those as quick as we possibly can. Hopefully it's all still going strong for you out there today. But it's definitely been an intriguing event so far. And as we say, there's still plenty more action left to come as Lola Fox once again now gets very close. And it's to and fro between the three guys dueling away over P2. There's been no real contender up till then, where Lola Fox almost gave himself a sly little move, didn't he? Almost went for it. So close yet so far though. But nonetheless, he'll take it, and he knows now exactly what he's capable of. The intention was there, and I'm pretty sure that V1386 will be thinking of that one next time he goes in towards turn number 11. He's fully aware of exactly what that man's capable of. But through the devastatingly fast turn number 5 they go. And there's still not really much to separate. We've had enough, I think. If we... No, it's all cleared up. There's a bit of a moment for Bolinas at the back, but I'll just try it. Nothing too major. Wasn't a spin or anything like that. Just a little bit of an outbreaking, I think. But all of the camera action has been focused on the three drivers you see on screen, and you can see what Lola Fox is trying to do. It's got to the stage now. We've only got a handful of laps left. They don't want to be fighting for these big positions towards the end of the race. They want to get them sealed now and defend, because defending is the much easier task out of the two here around Sonoma Raceway, and they all know that. They want to get the passes in early, and it's just so difficult. We've got a bit of lag there. B13's in trouble. B13A6 is in a world of trouble right now. A big upset. The man who set his fastest ever lap in qualifying is surely, I think, lagged out. And in terms of his championship as well, he was 13th. Oh, and he's retired. And that's absolutely devastating. He won't finish. He would have picked up a huge amount of points here today. He was running in P3, and P3 pays out 16 points. He was on 15 for the entire season, so he would have got himself up into around P7, P8, that sort of area. What a shame, and I'm sure he'll be absolutely distraught with that. But that leaves now extremely fast and Lola Fox with a bit of a gap, but they'll be battling one-on-one, so there won't be a duel to the finish for these guys right now. About maybe just having a one-on-one battle. You never know how these are going to pan out now. There's no third wheel threat. There's no being sucked in by an opposing car. It's you versus the man in second versus the tarmac. It's all to play for here at the closing stages. .4. He was a few tenths quicker, but he needs an error from extremely fast if he's going to at all have a chance at taking second place away from extremely fast. Romario's hold strong P4. P5, Ken's 247 has had a blistering race here today. So Ken, who in terms of the championship standings is also 5th, looking to keep that run of consistency going. Ken now goes through down ahead. We've got Andre Passer now following slowly but surely, lurking in the background, maybe just thinking, is it time? Lap 16 out of 20. These are when the errors start to come in flamboyant fashion. Now we really do have to keep our eyes peeled, because this race can turn on its head at any given moment. What can Andre Passer do? Through Sego Andreu chasing now, and you can really start to feel it. Andreu's really starting to apply pressure, and we haven't really seen that for him this race. Kent has done a supreme job of keeping him at bay, but now you've really got to wonder for how much longer. There can't be much more he can do. A few more laps left, but over the line they go, lap 17 of 20, 24 minutes into the race. Question is, will there be any late plot twists or no? We've got another battle still with Devil Bevan and Diamondback. Those guys being neck and neck all afternoon, with Diamondback taking the reins of the battle. Lounge driver on his way through the chicane now, still looking strong, 19 seconds in front, extremely fast. Ribeiro still looking good in fourth. Ken's maybe not looking so strong, maybe a bit nervous now. Going towards the closing stages of this one. Ondrej Passer, the man chasing him, looking to try and take that position away. We knew Kent wanted a big result today. The question is, can he get one? Because Ken 24/7, as we say, is P5, Ondrej P9 on 19 points, 1 point away from two drivers who aren't competing today. So he would love to get himself an early head start on those guys, including going into the drop rounds. Now looks for P5 on the inside. Does he? No, he ducks out of it. And you've got to start thinking like he's just lining up the moment, and he almost touched, I think he did touch the inside wall there. Through the final corner, it's the closest he's been. He goes to the inside of turn one. It's a risky manoeuvre as they climb their way through, up through turn number one. He's got P5. Watch the inside line though. He sweeps it round, and Ondrej Passer, 3 laps from the end, makes a gorgeous pass. And that may feature in the top 5 moments of the week. Absolutely remarkable scenes. And it's been the first proper overtake we've seen in a while, but Ondrej Passer sets a standard. Great manoeuvre indeed. Keep an eye on what's happening up front as well, because Lola Fox has torn the pages out of the book. Third now chasing second. Not long left to go, and now there really is a sense of urgency about him. Back, pick up towards that hairpin once again, and then they'll start their penultimate lap of the afternoon. The initial plan is then from Lola Fox, as that back end looked like it was going to snap away and collect the wall, but lucky for him it didn't. Over the line he goes, a 1 minute 30.6. A bit slower that time than extremely fast, but I think lap time to the least of his concerns right about now. Diamondback makes his way into the chicane. Devil Bevin alongside, goes for an inside pass. Just about cut off. It wasn't that far away, but he almost had it. And only run retirement as well. That remains to be B13A6 due to a technical issue or a disconnection. So unfortunately there, B13 will not be crossing the start-finish line today. In second where he was looking brilliant. He contested early on to really fight with extremely fast for second, but the two cars make their way now through. Number 8 in towards the hairpin again. Lola Fox is just not quite there yet, is he? He's trying to cut back underneath. Oh, he's got the lineup. Not quite close enough to put it into practice, it seems. The thought was there, the intention was there, but didn't have enough speed to put it into action. Lounger with the pit by button lit. That is bizarre. If he has to pit, it's going to be a severe shake. Oh, it comes unlit. I was going to say that really would have turned this race upside down and left two cars fighting for the win on the final lap. Now Lola Fox goes into the final corner for the penultimate time, and he can't get to the inside. It would be considered a dive bomb, I think, and extremely fast goes wide. Lola Fox again with a much tighter line, but he doesn't have the speed coming out because of it. And that is going to be costly. Extremely fast got a bit of a saving grace there. They make their way through turn one again. Lola Fox gets close, goes to the inside for P2 to take it back. They're still dueling away. Round the outside he goes, and he just can't make it stick. Despite his best efforts, brilliant defending there from extremely fast. Now as we get towards the closure of this race, just half a lap remains. The battle still unsettled, and Lola Fox gets so close to that inside line, you can almost sense that there's a manoeuvre brewing, just waiting. To come out of the hairpin, but we've got to take a look at what Lounge is doing as well. She's about to finish the race, just a few corners away from becoming the winner and potentially, considering drop rounds, a champion for him. So it's all still to play for there as Lola Fox goes over the curbs, chasing extremely fast. To no avail just yet though. He's got a nice run, but he won't be enough into the final corner, I don't think. Let's take a look at Lounge though. It's been 20 laps led by the pole sitter, and the man who's just 2 points away from Asa Acola, maybe crowned a champion after this, Lounger wins the final round of the Performance Driving Championship in the B race of the in the Lola World Championship Series, I should say. I got a complete mix up there. Extremely fast holds on against Lola Fox, who just got that final corner so wrong. But in all the excitement, Lounger did win the Lola World Championship Series final round here at Sonoma. Ribeiro takes fourth, and Andre Passer barely holding on for fifth. Kent 24-7 with an upset. Andrew back on the inside and just takes it away, though, does he? Kens can't quite get there. And barely anything between the two of them. A breathtaking finish. Luke Sky recovers to 7th. 8th place will be Devil Bevan in front of Diamondback, as far as I'm aware. That leaves Belinas in 11th with Belinas in 10th, I should say, with retirement coming from B13A6. What does that mean for the championship? We will get back to you as soon as we know that, including the drop round scores and which rounds the drivers do choose to pick to remove from their championship bids. But Lounger may, just may, be crowned champion after that. A stormer of a drive, and if he has done so and won the championship, he's done it in simply elating fashion. A brilliant victory, a stunning drive, and Lounger will be a deserving champion. But that's it from us here from the Lola World Championship Series. We'll be right back with you as we fly back across the country to Watkins Glen for the final round of the Performance Driving Championship. Coming to you soon. Hello everybody and welcome back live to your Simraceway Performance Driving Championship for 2014. We've got a lot of action to get through today in the final two races of the season here at Watkins Glen International Raceway. We've got some brilliant cars, the 1970 McLaren M8C, in which only 15 were ever manufactured to be joined into the Can-Am series, but unfortunately time has passed and the cars may not be so present anymore, but here they're restored in-game, flying around the Watkins Glen circuit, bringing us some breathtaking scenes, some breathtaking racing, and the perfect finale for the championship. So my name is Liam Jenkins, and I'll be calling all of the action for you for the next two races of the evening, with the B race and the A race, both of course combining into one big skill quad championship. We've got a lot to get through, and a lot of championships, and a lot of battles that need deciding, so we'll talk about all of those during the course of this race. Now we've got to focus on the qualifying session and where perhaps a lot of these guys stand going into this race, because there's going to be a few guys maybe looking to try and cement their space inside the top 5, some maybe looking to do a little bit more. We've got Fregel, who's currently on pole, with Severio second, El Nino P3, Four-Banger and Blue Fatality in P5. Mallox just joined the game and will be P6, but it's been a very interesting season, this one, it's got to be said. El Nino has not done too badly at all. Don't forget Beaker 01's stunning performance back earlier on. He did a simply marvellous job. They called him the Giant Killer. He did a brilliant job, but hasn't really got to come back since. We've got Severio, not too bad job at all. Four-Banger 75 and Blue Fatality will be maybe the two to watch out for today going into this race. Blue Fatality had a great run last weekend. I'm sure we'll be looking for much of the same here today. Four-Banger sits 33rd overall. El Nino sits 30th, so there's a lot to fight for in the lower sections. We've got Blue Fatality, who sits a little higher up in terms of that one. And by a little higher, we mean he's about 14th at the moment on 74 points. So still looking just outside of top 10 reach at the moment. But we'll all see what happens. 4 minutes to go left of qualifying. Severio does go P3. So big jump there for Severio. You know what that man's capable of, and I'm sure he's going to do much the same here today. He's going to really impress us, and it's going to be very intriguing to see just how close he can get to Blue Fatality, who's just gone fastest. Fregel now second, only by a few tenths. He just improves as I said that, so it's always the way, isn't it? But Fregel at 139.874 now, just 3 tenths behind Blue Fatality. 3 minutes 18, the field's starting to get maybe a little bit more, say, aggressive on the wheel now, and just as I head towards the bus stop, Fregel maybe just looking to push on a little bit harder. 3 tenths away at the moment, still plenty of time for him to find the time and to propel himself a little bit higher up, but Fregel, of course, with the drop round as well, won't be that far out of the mix. I'd say he's going to be looking for a good result here today. So a quick rundown of the order at the moment is Blue Fatality from Fregel in second, Severio P3 with a bit of a wobble there, El Nino P4, Four-Banger in P5, and we're still Mallox yet to set a time in P7, but he is on the circuit at the moment, so it won't be too long before we see from him, and maybe just understand, oh, actually it might be, because he's just hit the wall coming out of turn number 2, and I think he's a keyboard racer as well, so just the depth of control isn't quite there. And unfortunately, that's going to cost him a little bit, I think. But you can just see he's been a little bit aggressive with the throttle. It's very stop-start, and unfortunately, that is a disadvantage of using a car this elegant and this, I think, delicate would be the word to describe it. It's with a keyboard, you're not really going to have the amount of control that you would with something else, like a wheel or a joypad or something like that. You can just see the amount of oversteer he's getting in the back of it as well. But Fregel crossed the line last time round, did not beat the time. Severio just goes through turn 1, still unable to get closer, a tenth of a second away at the moment. El Nino still P4, we're watching a few moments to go. 7 tenths there in front of Four-Banger at the moment, so not a bad shout at all there for him. And just El Nino as he makes his way through the final corner now. 8 tenths away from Severio. Can he maybe minimise that gap a little bit now as he goes over the line? The answer is no, he can't. Mallock's still yet to set a good time as well. He's 2 seconds off the lead, but only, surprisingly, 1.5 tenths away from Four Banger. So still definitely got a shout within this one in the final stages. Mallox makes his way through the halfway point down in towards the chute. Fregel just goes fastest. Big lap there from Fregel. Puts himself a 10th up in front of Blue Fatality, and he's going to see that as he starts his lap. There's not long left in the session. In fact, there's only 2 seconds left. The session's now over. So Fregel does get another time. The rest of the guys will not. Severio's going to go over the start-finish line now. It's do or die for him. Where can he go? He doesn't improve, and he'll stay P3. Nino and Four Banger on hot laps at the moment as well, but we've all got to keep an eye on what Blue Fatality's doing. Probably the man closest to finishing his lap, I'd say, other than El Nino and Mallox as well. Mallox just making his way, going in towards turn number 10 now. So we'll have to wait and see what that man can do. Just a couple more moments to go before we see him emerge out of the final corner and across that start-finish line. Really not long left at all. Oh no, slow down, and it's not enough, he knows it. But where's Blue Fatality? The answer is out of the penultimate corner, just going into the final corner now. Turn number 11 he goes. Oh, and he's so early on the throttle, you've got to think this could be the lap to send him to the top of the timesheets, is it? No, it's not. And Fregel holds on. And that is the end of the qualifying session until Four Banger crosses the line. Four Banger's on his way there now. So through the final corner comes the man in P5 at the moment. Can he improve his current grid position? Will he start from the second row of the grid? No, he doesn't. Stays P5. So Fregel takes pole position for the final round of the Performance Driving Championship. We'll be right back with you here at Watkins Glen for the full race. Hello everybody and welcome back live here to the fourth and final round of your Simraceway Performance Driving Championship for 2014 here in the 900 to 1100 B race. Fregel sits on pole position, it's Blue Fatality in second, Severio third and El Nino in fourth. Let's take a look what happens as the cars run down into the first corner. Big start by the man on the outside. I'll tell you what, as they go down to the first corner, it wouldn't surprise me if there's an outside pass by Blue Fatality. And indeed there is, and he's got a bit too wide though, struggled to get back on in the lead, he has. And he had the intention there, but it wasn't put into practice, as we keep saying tonight, it's always the case, but up through the S's for the first time. And now in towards the bus stop chicane. It was a great start, it really was. But now Fatality is really having to attack Severio, who's done a good job to attack and take P2. But into that chicane, it's so difficult to overtake. It really takes a masterclass to get something to work through there. And a bit of a bump as well, but Forbanger and Malox. Malox now going to the outside, trying to swoop it inwards, but not quite there yet. Just about holding on there as Malox. He's trying to pass, and you can't blame him. He's already passed El Nino as the keyboard racer. And as we come towards the end of lap number one, Fatality to the inside. It's been a good overtaking manoeuvre. He can just about pull it off. Oh, he just can't. Severio with some masterful defending around the outside. So he did a very impressive job to hold on, but Severio just lost out there, unfortunately. A little bit of an error and a good pass from Fatality. Oh, and Forbanger spins. Big moment there for the black McLaren MHC. And he gets it back round again, but unfortunately it's going to be too little too late. Yes, we've got another 17 laps, but there won't be 17 more chances like that to be that close to your race leader. So remarkable scenes here as we come towards the end of lap number one, but just want to say, let's take a look through the championship standings as they stand in the 900 to 1100 skill quad, because don't forget, it's going to be an intriguing race, the finale of this one. We've got such a tight packed field, we've got an old rivalry still brewing, and there's going to be a lot of old scores left to be settled here around Watkins Glen as the action still unfolds here. But the field starts to separate out a little bit. Fatality sticking very much with Fregel, however, and breaking that trend. Midfield looking perhaps a little bit more, less dense than we predicted, but looking at the championship standings at the moment, and it's Asa Recola that leads on 202 points with Norby 211 on 142. A big performance from him last weekend, and perhaps another one this weekend. Could see him rocket forward and maybe, just maybe, challenge Asa Recola, who knows. I don't think he's going to be able to take a victory overall in the championship. You can get 70 points for a win, so mathematically it is possible. It could just be highly unlikely. So, Norby 2-1 second, and we've got Pro Drifter, Seacom, Anxiety and AGO6, all separated by just about 20 points there, so not really a lot at all. PMMS not that far behind either, and then it starts getting really intriguing the further you go down the field. The midfield is so tightly packed in terms of points. It's been a very consistent run for a lot of them. Others have struggled and then had really good performances, and then the worst performances of their career. Oh, and talking of worst performances, Malox spins. And he collects Forbanger, the two cars lucky to both recuperate without major damages to the front end, but nonetheless, it's definitely going to be a spanner in the works here at the early stages of this one. But over the line goes Forbanger again in a 1:46.3, so he lost about 6 seconds there to Fregel on the lap, which of course mainly because of the spin, but Fregel goes through again, 2 seconds in front, and in terms of his championship picture, it's not been a bad season at all for him. Sits inside the top 10 snugly on 80 points at the moment. Still a lot to be comprehended. I think he's going to want to maybe move on a little bit after that, but looking at the cars up in front of him and some of the opponents that will be racing a bit later tonight as well, don't forget, we've still got the big A race where all of the big guns are coming out and fighting for their championship bids. He sits in P10 with Sean 24, who's always done very well here. He had a good, I think a very solid run last weekend out. We had Lounger, again a good driver indeed, AGO6. Anxiety's one of those ones where he's had some very good runs and then some very bad runs. It was great to see him fighting back inside the top 5 again, but that run of inconsistency still remains, and it's the one thing that stopped him from being a title contender. He's had some great opportunities this season to really put himself on the podium, to get himself in the mixer, and he just hasn't quite capitalised on all of them. Some of them have been handed to him on a plate, and some of them he's worked extremely hard for. The good performances he's had have been remarkable, and unfortunately a little bit of bad luck has come into play, and he hasn't been able to make it stick on some of them. But we'll have to see how he can do later on. It's going to be interesting to see how he qualifies, especially knowing how challenging the Watkins Glen circuit is, as Fregel goes over the line to start his 4th attempt of 18 here today, in the lead, 3 seconds in front of Blue Fatality. And to field navigate their way around the Watkins Glen circuit with a lot of almost desperation for some of these guys. Some of them will be quite comfortable in their positions, but Banger will be definitely looking to get something going on his minuscule 12 points. Unfortunately, hasn't been his best season, has it, in P33? Just one above Baxagaba 57, and a few behind El Nino as well. So a victory over him today could prove to be quite vital when it comes to the drop rounds. El Nino, however, is 31 seconds in front of him and sat in P4. So it's going to be a reasonably big climb for him if he can somehow catch him. But catching, it's all going to be the talk about. Blue Fatality and Fregel, those two guys make their way up through, just onto that little short stretch before the final sector here at Watkins Glen. And Fregel seemingly having the better of the last sector, that's going to be for sure. But another driver that's going to be in the mix, and we know is going to be in the mix, will be Pro Drifter. And again, technically, he can still win today. It's not out of the question, but the one thing he'll be looking to do is take second position away from Norby 211. He stepped up to the plate big time, and he really immersed himself last time round. Pro Drifter had a fantastic weekend, finally getting a victory, but it wasn't meant to be overall in terms of the championship. Norby's got in between there. We've got Seekum a few points back, Anxiety 16 away. AGO 6 is there as well. DeMagico can never ride him out either, but there are some big drivers there, like Elite Speedway, Van Panther, who, given the right environment, the right car, a track where Anxiety strives as well. As we say, it was the first race where we saw him really make a name for himself back in those BMWs. All back in the days of the Simraceway Sunday race-off, which really is a throwback Thursday, but slightly late on a Sunday. And that really was where you saw his talent come through and shine, and since then it's really been a kind of up and down career for him. He's had some brilliant highlights and some lowlights I'm sure he'd rather forget. But we'll see how he can fare in the final round a bit later on. The drivers lap 5 of 18 at the moment, as Fregel still leads over Blue Fatality. Severio still not that far behind in P3 at the moment, with El Nino P4, Banger 5, and Malok's now out of the race in P6. So that was last time by, was the retirement from El Nino. So unfortunately for him, going to be a little bit of a shame for him. He wasn't doing too badly in terms of the championship as well. He had some good performances throughout his career, but he's really just stepped up to the plate. And I think today, that his first proper race, you know, using a keyboard, he's got to expect a learning curve, and that's only going to come through a competitive environment. He's done that today. He's got himself in what could be a very good position in future. He's raced with some of the best drivers in Simraceway now. He knows how to deal with them, how to defend, maybe work on his racecraft a little bit. And you never know where you could see this man in the future. Give him a couple of championships time, he could very well be a contender in the A race. But as Fregel comes towards the end of lap 5 and starts his 6th endeavour, the Fatality still remains at roughly 3 seconds behind, a 140.2 that time for Blue Fatality. And your race leader did a 139.9, so he did lose a few tenths of a second there, and as the back end kicked out in turn 1, you can just start to wonder maybe just how much this means to Fregel right now. We already know, as we say, how quick he is, how dangerous he can be on the racetrack, not in terms of a literal sense, but in terms of just consistency, really. P10, 80 points, solid run. If you can get a few solid runs, you're going to be okay in this championship. It's estimated you want 3 podiums to be in with a shout of winning the title, and Fregel's had some 3 top 10s. He's looking now to take his first victory of the championship. Just a few seconds separate himself from Blue Fatality, who's still trying to put the pressure on him, but it's very difficult to do, unlike Sonoma, where slipstreaming's easy and passing's hard. This way it's the other way around. It's very difficult to catch a draft on the other opponent just because of the nature of the circuit and how complex it is. Severio still lingering there in 7 seconds behind in 3rd. And, you know, a four-banger round out your runners in fourth and fifth. But as they make their way now through turn number 9 and just towards turn 10 for the 6th time today. In the corner where you've got to get it right. There is a bit of a runoff area, but you can't really use it or try and be sneaky and get some more because it will cost you dearly, just like the runoff area at turn 1. And it was in fact that area at turn 1 where Blue Fatality took the lead on lap number 1 of the race. And since then, unfortunately, just ran a bit too deep into the corner. And it just was not meant to be. He couldn't hold on, he went a bit wide. And the rest was history. He's now fighting to hold on for P2. Apart from that, it's all pretty much quiet on the Western Front at the moment. Four-banger now 1 minute 16 away from Fregel already. So the main two drivers to watch are Fregel and Blue Fatality. Severio there as well, but apart from that, it's all been very quiet now as the field space out as we approach the mid-race distance marker here, and just taking a look at what Blue Fatality's got to do. Heavy break in there, and he goes a bit wide. In fact, he goes very wide. He's very lucky to not collect a bit of grass there and spin out, but nonetheless, still pushes on, and it's going to lose him some time to Fregel, which, in an ideal world, he wouldn't really want to do. But so Fatality makes his way through. He's actually gained a bit there. I think Fregel must have had a couple of moments throughout that lap, because out of nowhere, he's looking a much more promising end to the lap than it was at the start here. Talking of promising, just how promising is it going to be for Pro Drifter 1000 who'll be watching this race at the moment? Just looking at competition, trying to get a bit of an insight. And I think I'm going to make a top 5 prediction. If you're watching this on the YouTube stream, guys, I would love to know what you think. Be sure to let us know in the comment section. Or if you want to tweet us your top 5, then tweet us at Simraceway or at Liam J Sim Racing, and I'm sure we can have some interesting discussions about who's going to be the king of Watkins Glen come the end of the race. I know you've got a few viewers watching here right now. So my top 5, I'm going to say, come the end of the race here today in the A race, will be an Ace Collar victory, followed by Pro Drifter in second, Norby in third, Lounger P4, and I'm going to say... Oh, it's difficult, isn't it? I would honestly like to say Van Panther in P5. I really do think he's come on leaps and bounds. Axvarti in a close P6 with AGO6 in 7th. That would be, I think, the most realistic lineup. We've seen Mr. Jolly take a victory last time out in the B race, which saw him rocket to 24th in the standings. But in terms of the top 7, then, of what I predicted, it's very difficult to choose between Axvarti and AGO6 because both drivers have the same pros, same cons. Both are very quick, both great overtakers. Their racecraft is excellent. They just caught out occasionally by a bit of bad luck, or they make a few mistakes. It happens. They're racing drivers. No one's perfect. But their points totals talk for themselves in this championship. 120 points for Axvarti, 112 for AGO6. A lot lies on this following race, and they know that. They're only separated by 8 points. They're very evenly matched drivers, but I'm going to say that AGO6 will have a slight edge in this car. I've got a feeling that this sort of car will suit his driving style, but I could be proven wrong. We'll see what Axvarti can do. So I'm going to say Ace Collar, Norby, Pro Drifter, and then it was, I think, Van Panther, Seacom, Axvarti, AGO6 Axvarti. So yeah, be sure to let us know your predicted top 5 in the comment section below or on Twitter. I'm sure you can read a few of them out and see how we compare. But lap 9 of 18, then we're almost halfway through this race. We're about to come towards the end of lap number 9. But Severio still P3, still doing a nice job at the moment. Clinging on in there, just trying to get some big points, and you can't really blame him at all. He's done a good job this afternoon so far. So 1 second still separate Fregel and Blue Fatality as they approach the halfway stage here. Fatality tries to move to the inside, goes a bit wide, and I think that's going to be a common occurrence lately, but Severio's only 7 seconds away. He's going to have the popcorn-esque view here. He'll be pretty much watching a cinematic of a Fast and Furious movie if these two get battling. It's going to be quite the sight to be behold as they go through turn 10 again. A bit of curb riding there for Blue Fatality, but again, it's nothing that's really going to hinder his lap time. And out of the final corner comes Fatality over the start-finish line. And a 140.0 compared to Fregel's time of a 140.3. So Fatality now starting to hold the advantage, perhaps, as we approach a halfway stage here. It's definitely a possibility to go towards the bus stop chicane. One that's caught out many a driver in the past. Let's see what Fatality can do. Not quite there just yet. It's a little bit too far away, and you've got to be careful when you're trying to spot your braking point for that chicane. It's very easy indeed to let another car just distract you, or the idea of slipstreaming and getting as much speed as you can out of that straight to keep you from missing your braking point. And if you do that, it's going to be a very messy ending, unfortunately, and we've seen it so many times before. Fatality not falling victim to that trap yet, however. Still 1.5 seconds away as Fregel takes a much tighter line there, you can see. Starting to get a bit more defensive with his driving lines now. And Severio's now 8 seconds, but what I would be really intrigued to see is if Fregel and Blue Fatality start to battle, they start exchanging blows, so to speak, then is Severio going to be able to capitalise or no? Will he have the pace to make it into an advantageous manoeuvre? To start maybe reading them in, get them to within a few seconds. They're about to start at number 11 now, so they'll have 8 laps to go. Actually, over the line, another 140.0 from Blue and another 139.8 that time from Fregel, so Fregel really up in his game in these past few moments. Through the bus stop chicane they go again, and just a quick update as well on what's happening with the rest of the field. We've got Fregel leading from Fatality, Severio third, El Nino in fourth, and Forbanger in fifth, with Molax our only retirement of the afternoon so far, here in the final round of your Simraceway Performance Drivers' Championship for 2014. We've still got plenty of action to come as well. Don't forget that final race, that all-important final race that's going to decide the overall championship winner. Really can't decide just to see who's going to be. I think predicting in itself was quite difficult, except that Asa Recola may just hold the advantage here. He's won at Watkins Glen so many times before in so many different types of vehicle, from open wheelers like the MHC to closed cockpit cars like the Mitsubishi Evolution. But either way, let's just wait and see how things pan out, because a lot can change here, and Simraceway has always been known for its late shocks and plot twists, so to speak. You never know what's going to happen, and you never know. We could see a Norby victory, we could see a Pro Drifter victory, we could even see a few retirements. But the cars go over the line to start lap number 12 of 18. Fregel will be looking to hammer home a victory today and cement himself inside the top 10. And that'll be one round he will not want to drop when it comes to selecting which of the 3 rounds to take towards his championship bid. Through the chicane once again, and a bit of a wobbly entrance that time for Fregel, and I'm wondering if Blue Fatality will be able to step on the power a bit quicker and turn that into some sort of positive gain, but it hasn't really been evident so far. Fregel recovered quite well, I think. As they make their way now down through the carousel, and Fatality looking a bit stronger again. He's kept Fregel there, in all honesty, all race long. He's been 12 laps of chasing. Not let him out of his sights once, so I say that, and there's a lot of oversteer as he makes his way towards the top of the hill. Climbing up through turn number 9 for lap number 12 here. And Frege went very wide there, didn't he? That's going to allow fatality. Oh, he's done the same. And just a touch of the inside curve there, and the McLaren roars away. And that's pretty much like poking a sleeping lion with a stick, isn't it? Because they're just going to roar and snap away from you. And a sudden rush, and you have to save that car with every bit of energy you have. Fatality did well to not let that car snap away. A 1:39.6 and a 1:39.7 from your P2 and P1. Fatality the faster of the two drivers that time round, but a 39.6 is simply a very quick time. To put it in comparison, Simraceway did a 1:40.5. But bear in mind, Fatality will have a slipstream that will pay dividend through some parts of this circuit. Not all parts, but a lot of them. Although he seems to have maybe missed a bit there and a bit wide going out of turn 3. You can just hear the roar of the McLarens now coming towards the end of their race. We've got just a few more moments left, about 10 minutes or so of racing left. And up through the hairpin once again, a late braking maneuver there for Fatality. He's got that corner right, he's got it now for the first time all race long to under a second through that corner. He's getting closer, slowly but surely, really is starting to get there now. But a bit wide there from Frege, and Fatality needs to try and capitalise on this. Frege is starting to make errors. It's all about that body punch technique we so often refer to here at Simraceway, about just slowly starting to take them in and maybe looking for manoeuvres but not following through on them, scaring your opponents. But up through turn number 1 again then, 5 laps of racing left to go. And so much can happen in 5 laps. Blue Fatality will be really hoping that that is the case. Because he's flying right now, isn't he? It's a chicane again, and he's not quite close enough for a manoeuvre, but he's certainly closer than he's ever been. The money was lined up alongside him on the front row, but let's just see what Blue Fatality can do from here on out then. Been a masterful performance so far in terms of chasing and not giving up, not letting the dirty air affect his driving at all. And Fatality, as we say, remains 14th in the standings at the moment. Frege's 10th. There's only 6 points separating those 4 positions. So Fatality just single digits away from Frege, and he would love to do one over on him, wouldn't he? He'd love to make a win at his drop round and really excel himself to potentially place him inside the top 10. Can he do it though? That's the issue. He's so close right now. Pressure starts building for both drivers. It's all about the clutch. Metaphorically, of course, not the actual clutch inside the car, but in terms of the American sports term where games come into an end, the game's on the line, which of the teams going to be able to deliver in the clutch, can live up to the pressure, can get through the excitement, the adrenaline, the anxiety, the emotion, put it all to one side and focus on the task in hand. Blue Fatality a 1:39.9 that time round, a 1:39 also by Frege, but Fatality just a few hundredths of a second slower. We're down in towards the bus stop chicane for time number 15 today now. And Simraceway starting to drop off big time now, 18 seconds away, and I can't tell if it's because these guys have upped their game or because Simraceway's just taking it easy a bit. You can't blame him though, can you, even if he was to? Purely because of how much this means to these guys now. A podium finish is going to be a big result nonetheless. Through turn number 9 again, and just So I was looking at the championship standings a moment ago and just admiring how little there is between P35, which is John Daniels, P27, which is Severio at the moment. Severio is P3, of course. There's only 23 points between there. And then you look at the gap between the top 10. 202 points by championship leader Acer Acola, 80 points by Fregel. But the top 7 all separated by 80 points. They're still very close there. Then the midfield is where things just get ridiculous, because from P10, which is Fregel at 80 points, down to P28, which is Mr. PA on 30 points. And a race win, of course, gets you 70 points. So first gets 70, second 66, third 62, and fourth 58, so on and so forth. So a lot of points to play for. There's a lot can change in this championship, and it just may be able to now as Fatality has a great run into the chicane, and he can't quite make it stick. 3 laps of action left to go. Fregel holding his line strong, but Fatality for the first time looked extremely dangerous. And don't forget as well to check out the Out of This World weekend with our brand new track, Area 51. So a completely supernatural experience, and you never know, you may just find an alien or two around Area 51. And based on the layout of the actual secret area as well, it's going to be a very interesting to drive indeed. I think we'll have to go for a little creepily night spin a bit after this to cool down a bit. But yeah, you can get 3 cars as well to drive around there with the Pagani Zonda, the Koenigsegg Agera and the Mazda Furai. So don't forget to pick up those 3 along with Area 51, the track of course being free, and be sure to give it a test drive and let us know what you think about the latest reincarnation here into Simraceway. But the 2 drivers in the lead of the race about to start their final lap of the afternoon, or their penultimate lap I should say, as they start lap number 17. A bit of a lock-up there, I think, by Blue Fatality, and interestingly enough, Severio, a 140.2, actually lapped faster than Fregel that time round. Now, if he can just get himself within 10 seconds, if these 2 collide, this race is going to be wide open, potentially more open than a 40-acre field, because they're going towards the bus stop chicane again. Fatality a bit further back than where he was last time. They go, and outside of the carousel, a bit of oversteer there for the man in second position who's been chasing so well. But Severio's still going strong. El Nino's been quite all race long as well in P4, 30 seconds away from the race leader, but nonetheless still giving it their all, just like the 2 leaders. So approaching the final lap now then of Fregel and Blue Fatality. This is it, the showdown. Final lap of their Performance Driving Championship is about to get underway onto the Simraceway Bridge here at Watkins Glen. And over the line, here we go, 1 lap remaining. 28 minutes of action have already passed us. And now things start to get just a little bit intense, don't they? It's all on the line. Blue Fatality makes his way through turn number 1, holds his line well. He needs a good run out of turn 2. Gentle lift in 4th gear. And he's trying to climb his way through. He's a little bit far, I think, away to even think about a draft at this stage. It's just going to be, oh, and he almost got in the grass when he turned in. And if he was there for about half a second longer, that could have been utterly drastic in terms of the shape of this race, because that would have been a tremendous collision with the wall. That sort of speed as well, but car on the track nonetheless in the 1970 McLaren M8C designed for the Can-Am Championships. Fregel gonna take this one home to victory today, potentially. All the rest goes to plan. But there's not much time left to wait and see, just a few more corners. Severio is 10 seconds away as well, so if Fatality can get closer or Fregel goes wide, it will be wide open. but I don't think he will. There's only 3 more corners left to go. Fatality can just play the waiting game. An early turn. Oh, he's gone wide, and that surely lost any chance he had. He didn't mean to do that, and that has simply handed the baton to Fregel, who's going to run home for the final stint. So Fregel through the final corner was P10 before this race, and he's going to get a dramatic increase afterwards. He comes to the pit wall because he wins the final race of the Performance Driving Championship. What a drive by that young man. Blue Fatality takes second. The good race indeed. Very well deserved. Severio takes third. El Nino will be fourth. And Paul Banger will take fifth position. But what a drive by the man in first place. Blue Fatality was just 6 points away from him going into it. Could not really match him. But that doesn't matter anyway. Fregel will propel himself provisionally into the top 5. But that will change after the results from the next race come in. So be sure to go get your popcorn. Go get your soda, because this one is going to be an absolute thriller. We'll be back at Watkins Glen very shortly for the final race of your 2014 Performance Driving Championship. Well, ladies and gentlemen, here we are. The finale of your Simraceway Performance Driving Championship for 2014 is upon us. It's been a bit of a bumpy ride, hasn't it? We've seen some thrills, spills, we've seen everything in between, but now it all comes down to this. And starting with this qualifying session, there's been 10 minutes, we've got 6 minutes left to go. Asa Acola, your championship leader, leads the way. Lounger is in P2, and funnily enough, Lounger P7 in terms of the championship on 112 points. Never write him off for a top 5. Pro Drifter 1000, a 138.3, just a tenth behind Asa Acola. We've got G. Cortese in P4, Mr. Jolly 5, Blue Fatality up in 6th, Luke Sky in P7, Fregel up in 8th after a win last time round, and he had some blistering that time as well, didn't he? He really did. So we'll wait and see how they play out. We've got Andrew Pasa returning in 9th place, DeMagico in 10th, Agvarti and AGO 6th. The two jewelers yet to set time, Seacom and Van Panther also, as we have 5 minutes left in the session. So my name's Liam Jenkins and I'll be calling all of the action for you as we come towards the end of the season. It has been a hell of a ride, isn't it? We really have seen a lot of attention so far. The question is though, who's going to be the man who walks away with the grand prize? Is it going to be Asa Acola? Is there a shock in the tail? We just don't know. We've got Norby 211, who I believe, as far as I'm aware, is actually not present in this race. So Seacom just sets a time there. That puts him in 6th place, so not a bad effort at all. But in terms of the championship standings, there's Asa Acola on 202 points from Norby on 142. Pro Drifter on 136, Seacom on 130, Agvarti 10 behind, and rounding out your top 5 on 120 points with AGO 6 on 112, Lounger, who's also tied with him, PMMS on 96, Sean at 24 on 94, with Fregel rounding out your top 10, but obviously after a victory last time round could be looking to make a bigger indent here today. We'll Kepi the Legend P12, Van Panther 13th, Fatality 14th, T-Bolt, who's not here yet, in 15th, Luke Sky 17th, Lolin Fox 19th, Vasquez, we've got Andrei Pastas 25th, Savario 27th. Still a lot of action left to come as you have more drivers trying to set some times down. 3 minutes 55 to go as Pro Drifter really lights up the timing sheets of 1:37.8, 4 tenths quicker than Asa Acola, so dominant display there. Three minutes and 25 seconds to go. Pro Drifter still leading. Let's take a ride on board then with Pro Drifter at the moment. He's looking extremely strong as he comes down. It's a convenient time actually as he just starts a new hot lap. So up in towards a 5th gear, they're just breaking down. And check that, all the way down to 3rd. Didn't even go down to 2nd, keeping the revs low. So nice and easy on the run down before the bus stop chicane. It's all about getting a good run through there. He's up towards 179 miles an hour now. But just to confirm, Pro Drifter must win this race at all costs to take the championship. If Pro Drifter wins, he's the champion. If Asa Acola can do anything, and he's the champion pretty much. If Pro Drifter comes 2nd, the championship belongs to Asa Acola. If Pro Drifter wins, it's going to be a very intriguing affair indeed. But let's see what Pro Drifter can do. The stakes are high, the pressure is higher, and this lap could just be about to raise the roof. It's looking very good so far. Very oversteery though is the 1970 McLaren M8C. So he brings it nice, and again 3rd gear does not like going down to 2nd with the high revs. Likes bringing it out through the lower revs, feeling the car get through the power quicker. Bit of a slow change there to 4th gear, that may cost him. So he goes back down to 3rd once again. And he may be just a bit slower through there than well, Agvarti's done P2. Agvarti crosses the line in 2nd position. So now just a 10th away from Pro Drifter is Agvarti. And Asa Acola beats it as well, and it's all happening again. It's Sonoma take 2. Asa Acola now a 10th faster than Pro Drifter. Pro needs a good lap, but it's been a little bit scruffy in all honesty. Can he somehow pull this out of the bag? No, he can't. He's got to go again. So tensions rising here at the moment. 1 minute 32 seconds left in qualifying, and your top 5 looks like this. Asa Acola leads, Pro Drifter 2nd, Agvarti stays in P3 at the moment. P4 belongs to Lounger. P5 belongs to not Agvati, beg your pardon. P5 belongs to G Cortese, just behind Lounger there by about a tenth of a second. So still plenty of time for things to change. It's by no means set in stone, and there's still plenty left to come, especially during the race. It's all about the run down into that first corner. As we saw last time round, Blue Fatality always made the pass for the win there, and he just couldn't quite make it stick. It's 48 seconds left to go, and Pro Drifter still looking very much alive at the moment with Asa Acola coming towards the end of a lap. Bit of traffic up ahead, but it's not really going to stand in the way between himself and the start-finish line. I can't imagine it doing so anyway. Makes his way now through turn number 10. Gets the car back over to the left-hand side of the circuit. Very late on for turn 11. Bit sideways through there, but nonetheless a very good exit. Let's see what he can do then. He needs to really beat his time to cement pole position. He does it as well. He does. 0.2 of a second is now what separates Pro Drifter from Asa, and Pro is going to see that. Knowing what's at stake, he needs to get a good drive out of the corner. He took it in 4th. It's a bit of a risk, and he runs wide slightly. Will it be enough? He gets it back down to a 10th. And a few moments ago, that could have been the difference between pole position and second. It's now him just staying second, but being a 10th off of first. Agvati on a lap as well in P3 at the moment. We'll see what he can do as the session comes to a close. Van Panther qualified P5, Lounger P4, Cortese 6th, Seacombe 7th, AGO 6 spins in 8th place. So that will be the end of his session. Mr. Jolly in 9th, Fatality in 10th. Fregel, your race winner from last time round, qualified behind Blue Fatality there. Now that is interesting. So the two who are neck and neck towards the final stint between laps 16 and 18 really couldn't separate them, is actually slower. So Fatality looking pretty strong, as Asa Acola really does have a bit of a problem with traffic now. It's Andrik Passer, the man in front of him, so he's going to be quite careful there, as that red M8C could hinder his hot lap. Oh, and Asa won't be happy with that. I think that was a bit of block in there, maybe unintentionally, but Andrik Passer, I think he moved onto the racing line. It should not have happened at all. Let's head through turn 11. You've really got to discover the pace of Asa Acola, and you've got to discover his emotion after this, because he may be very angry, doesn't extend the time, and that could be critical. But it's not going to matter now, because every car's back in the pit lane. The session is over. Asa Acola, your championship leader on over 200 points, will start the final race of the season in pole position. We'll be right back with you for the full lap race. We'll see you shortly. Okay, so the wait is finally over for your Simraceway Performance Driving Championship for 2014. It's definitely going to be an intriguing one at that. Asa Acola took pole, but it's Pro Drifter 1000 that has to win to keep those championship hopes alive. Can he pull it off into turn one? 29 laps of action lie in front of us. A big start from Pro Drifter around the outside. We've already got some contact in the background. On-track pass has gone off as well. Freggle's off. There's a restart. 4 or 5 cars involved there, so not exactly ideal for the field as they go down to turn one. There is a restart on his way, so he will get his race back underway very shortly. So we're back here live for the Performance Driving Centre finale, or Performance Driving Championship finale, I should say. It's all about the star here today. Asa Acola leads the championship on 202 points. He also has pole position. But if Pro Drifter 1000 wants to take a victory, he simply has to win. There's no other way around it. He'll be having to drive the race of his career here today to take it. Question is it doable? Let's find out as a run down into turn one. Starts right now. They go, and a big start by Pro Drifter on the outside as a field of McLaren MAC stream down. Andre passer again in the walls. He's the only car involved though. Round the outside goes Pro Drifter for the lead early on. And he's on the curb, and he's been fighting side by side with Asa Acola. And Asa slams the door shut with quite the authoritative glance across the track there that you can almost feel the tension between the two drivers. And to make their way onto the straight now before going into the bus stop chicane. We've got some already movement going on. We've got Van Panther there side by side with Anxiety. Van Panther up into third after an outside pass going in. But Lounger now trying to go round the outside of Anxiety. Can't quite make it stick. It may allow for Cortese to slip back underneath, but not quite there just yet as all the action starts to ensue here at Watkins Glen. But it's a line of cars set up in towards turn number 9 for the first time, or turn number 8 I should say. You can just feel how much tension there is as Cortese hits the back of Lounger, and again, and Lounger's off I think. And he's done well to recover that. That could have been a very messy incident. Luckily though, danger averted as Cortese goes wide, and oh, he hits him again. So I'm not sure if that was intentional or what, but poor old Lounger will be feeling like he's really in the wars today. Asa O'Connor now going over the start-finish straight with the lead, 1.1 seconds over Pro Drifter, and how critical will that be come the end of this race? Look at all the action behind as well as Lounger goes up the inside of Seacombe of turn 1. Seacombe trying to hold on and cling it around the outside, and he may have just done that absolutely brilliantly. Asa O'Connor now makes his way down in towards the bus stop chicane once again. Pro Drifter still trying to move everything he can on through the chicane, but not quite there yet. Bit of a bump there for Anxiety, who's up to P4, so he said he would challenge for a top 5 here today. Whether he will or no, I think I actually predicted a P6 for him, so not too far off actually at the moment. Seacombe P5, Lounger 6th, Fatality in 7th. Good job there for him. And the race winner of the B race we saw just a few moments ago before this stream now sits behind those guys all the way down in P10, but not a bad effort considering he's just driven a lot of laps at the helm. But there's still not much separating the entire field at the moment as Pro Drifter holds on. Now just 9/10 of a second away. He had a good stint there, didn't he? That for the moment, his second lap for the race has been much better than his first in terms of holding on to the rear end of Asa O'Connor. He's not let him escape. Asa through the final corner. Pro Drifter still doing everything he can, but he's being hounded by Van Panther and Anxiety. The top 4 just separated by 5.6 seconds as they go across the start-finish line, so really not that much to choose between the entire top 4. It's going to be a very tightly fitted contest today, and there is a possibility for pit stops. We don't know how much it's going to be, or if drivers will even choose to stop at all, or pull the old AZ best trick out the book and maybe just go the entire distance. We're not exactly sure what the drivers have got planned here today. Some drivers saying they want to stop around halfway, some drivers saying they don't want to stop at all. It's all down to personal preference, and I think one personal preference we need to be admiring right now is Pro Drifter. How many times have we seen this in all 4 races so far? With Pro attacking Asa on his rear wing, getting closer and closer each time. And of course, remember that first round back at Sonoma with the Audi R8s, and he couldn't get it done. It took him 45 minutes, just pressure, pressure, pressure. Even going in the pits, coming out the pits, they were still neck and neck. Pro Drifter could never get the move done. Will this change today? Of course, he has to win to finish the championship. There's no two ways about it. If Pro Drifter comes second and Asa O'Connor comes 9th, not good enough. He has to win to secure the championship. A quick update on what's going on a bit further behind these drivers as well. We've got a nice little battle forming there behind Seacombe with Lounger catching him. So that would definitely be a nice battle to watch, and he always tried one up the inside there, didn't he? But thought a bit better of it this early on. It's only lap 3. Still got plenty of time left remaining on this race yet. Let's just wait and maybe find out what the plan's going to be right now for Lounger, because he's got to try and get past Seacombe as soon as possible. It's not going to be easy, and there's a bit of lag there, I think, for him. We've got to keep an eye on what the 3 doing at the front as well, because Van Panther's getting closer and closer to Pro Drifter. Don't forget, Van Panther's still got a lot to play for as well here. It's not just the title contenders we've got to keep an eye on, because Van Panther has not done badly at all season. He's currently P13 on 74 points. He wants to break himself into the top 10. But Pro really is great at the moment in chasing in. Pro Drifter 1000 has got that draft sorted. Just trying to take a line as to what Pro Drifter's got planned at the moment. The entire field still very close as Pro goes, oh, very wide. Silly error, outbroke himself. Anxiety tries to push himself a bit further forward and has a real chance of a podium here today. That's the man who inherits 4th place at the moment. They've got a nice battle there forming over P5, still raging on with Seacombe and Lounger. Lounger all over the rear end of the brightly traditional McLaren coloured M8C there from the 1970s, of course. I mentioned earlier, only 15 of these cars ever made, designed to compete in the Can-Am series and were relatively successful, with no match towards the other works teams of the cars of the later M8D and the M8F as well. As these cars roar their way now down the straight, Fregel still being chased there by DiMaggio actually. P10 at the moment, it's Fregel and he's gone a bit wide, and that's the one corner you don't really want to go wide in, because now DiMaggio is going to have such a big run, he's going to feel like he's on a runway. He still just doesn't have enough momentum to end the manoeuvre just yet though. Still the executions there, the ideas to have it. Look how intense that top 5 is getting right now. Anxiety catching these guys. Seacombe, maybe within a shout of reaching them at this stage. Very, very close opening stint, that's for sure. The first 5 laps have been simply marvellous, I think it's the only word to describe. Very intense action indeed, as Van Panther tries to just inch his way closer to Pro Drifter 1000. As we say, Pro Drifter has to win today to keep his championship hopes alive. No second chances, no excuses. It's all about win or nothing here. If you're not first, you're last, as the old saying from Ricky Bobby goes. Into turn 1, and Asa Acola still leading, but it's not really a dominant lead. We have seen in the past Asa can get himself into a bit of a situation where he's 5, maybe 10 seconds in front and then loses it later on, but not today. It's been a very difficult first stint for him, and keeping these cars at bay. Keeping cars at bay as well. Look at Seacombe, look at Lounger. These guys are absolutely neck and neck once again. As Lounger tries to get to the inside, not yet. Despite his finest efforts. And a nice war indeed forming just behind there with, as we say, DiMaggio and Fregel. We noticed that earlier on, but Blue Fatality as well. So the old war for the race lead that was in the B race earlier on is now being reincarnated in the A race. So that'll be a very nice watch, I think, a bit later on. But Lounger really now starting to apply the pressure, goes to the inside. It's going to be a late move, I think. And Seacombe tries to cut across and does so very well. Very intense battling going on all across the field now, and look how close Anxiety is. This is ridiculous. Asa Acola's going to cross the line. Let's compare lap times then. A 1:39.2, a 1:39.1 from Pro, 1:39.2 from Van Panther, and another 1:39.2 from Anxiety. So very close at the moment, as Pro Drifter still looks to get that chase going and pull away from Van Panther as soon as possible. We need to do that sooner rather than later as well, because it's not going to be too long before a certain Anxiety joins the tail end of that field. And it's going to make it a very, very intense few moments, isn't it? Until one of the guys pits. But if they all don't, it's going to be a long afternoon. I think they're going to be feeling the effects of that one long afterwards. Still Seacombe now. It's got a bit of a train forming behind him as well. Almost the Seacombe section, we could say, or the Seacombe Sea transport. Right the way, Lounger to put a move on him has been unsuccessful in his attempt so far. Cortese also P7, AGO6 is 8. Fatality 9th, Fregel 10th, the Magico 11th, but don't forget what's going on with Ace Ricola though. This is where the attention needs to lie. The fate of the championship is effectively within these top 4 drivers. Pro Drifter has to have a win today to secure the championship. If he doesn't, it's game over. If he does, then it's going to be a few mathematicians scratching their heads after this one, trying to work out drop rounds and that kind of thing. Pro has to win to stay in with a chance of winning this championship today. He's got a long road ahead of him. It's a long afternoon, 29 laps of Watkins Glen. We're on lap 7 already. It's nearly a third of the way through now, and you've got to really wonder, and a bit wide there was Pro Drifter, I think. Let's take a ride on board with Van Panda and see what his view's looking like, because as this field is spacing out, it's going to be pretty interesting to watch, isn't it? As Van Panda bumps over the curb of the chicane. That's not helped out at all. But nonetheless, stays on the back of Pro Drifter. I think both of those drivers are going to be very much aware of what's going on behind them, as Agvarti is still inching closer and closer lap after lap. The drafting effect here at Watkins Glen really aiding the McLaren M8 season, especially the man who sits in P4 at the moment. Just take a look there at what Ace Ricola's doing, because he's gone a little bit tight into there. And Seacombe's out, he got a retirement. Seacombe's out of the race as P12 is at a disconnect. I think it may be, or is it? We'll try and keep you updated as soon as we can. That may just be a disconnection issue for him, which if it did, that would be the second one of the evening overall. So unfortunately for these drivers, not really been their luckiest of days. Acer starts lap number 9 of 29 with a 139.133, a 138.6 from Pro Drifter, and a 139 flat, a 139.1 from Agvarti. So all the rest of the top 4 faster than your race leader that time by. They are looking extremely competitive at the top half of that field right now. But let's just wait and see what the rest of the race has in store for us, because over the curbs again goes Van Panda, a much more aggressive line, but he's got so much closer to the back of Pro Drifter right now. This is almost too intense to watch. Yeah, just an update on what happened to Seacombe. He got into a curb which unfortunately ended its race. Just a little bit too aggressive into it, and a big collision saw him unfortunately no longer compete. And talking of no longer competing, Ace Ricola wringing the life out of that car now to keep it going in the right direction. Almost lost it as well. He's going to be driving so much more aggressively now. He's been matched by Pro Drifter and Van Panda. Agvarti's there as well. Lounger's only 12 seconds down the road. Big bit of wheel spin there from Van Panda coming out of that corner. Ace is going to make his way through the final corner after lap number 9. Still your race leader, and still your championship leader. And Cortese's out as well, a second retirement there. Oh, and Fregel spun. So P9, Fregel with a spin. We've got Luke Sky just trying to catch him now. So I wonder if Luke Sky can maybe put a move on him. We spoke earlier about Luke Sky's fortunes during this championship. And of course, not a bad year at all. 59 points, it's 17th overall in the standings. So still maybe could be hoping for a bit more, but nonetheless, a very good effort so far. And he could be climbing in towards that top 13, maybe looking at potentially a top 10, depending on where he finishes today. It's all down to the result of this race. There's no second chances. The drivers do get a drop round, of course, but if they get 2 or more bad results, it's not really going to be the most ideal situation for them, and they're going to drop some big points, and they could see them sail down the order faster than you can say McLaren. And talking of faster than you can say McLaren, I'm wondering how fast it's going to be for Van Panther to pull his way past Pro Drifter now. He's looking in a much more feisty position. I think Panther's definitely going to be the catalyst in this battle. What's either going to happen is he's going to pass Pro Drifter on an error, or it's going to really shake it up, and Pro Drifter's going to get a sudden sense of urgency and start applying the pressure 2 times greater than he was before onto the back of your championship leader, Acer Acola. Big oversteer there. Through the final corner, and Pro Drifter's going to get a much better run than Acer Acola, but I fear Van Panther for him may get a better run. No, he doesn't. Pro Drifter saved by the slipstream as they go into turn 1 for the 11th time today out of 29. So they're getting there closer slowly but surely. You've just really got to feel for these guys right now. This is almost edge of your seat stuff. Catchphrase isn't quite coming yet. We've got a long way to go. There's a lot that can happen. Right now, there's going to be a lot of tension between all of these drivers. Acer Acola especially, but he knows how to handle himself in these situations. Acer, probably one of the greatest clutch drivers that Simraceway's ever seen. He's been to the Performance Driving Centre, of course, and driven one of the Formula 3 cars. He's driven the Evolution. But Pro really has upped his game this season. He's taken him all the way to the end. Van Panther has as well. It's been a good late stint for Van Panther in terms of results. Pro just holding up the moment. I think he's trying to look to the inside, but he's got to be so careful. If he goes for a move and it doesn't pay off, he not only risks being passed by Van Panther, but also anxiety as well. And they've got to be so unrelentingly careful right now, because the tiniest of errors is going to be costly. Lounge is round the corner, and anxiety had a bit of a slip up through turn number 10. And that will be very, I think, important now for Lounge to capitalise on this. If he can catch anxiety. Those two will fade into their own battle in the second half of this race, leaving the top 3 to duel amongst themselves, essentially. But down the back straight, going in towards the bus stop chicane again, and Van Panther's got a much better run. Pro Drifter's got a terrible run going out the corner. Oh, you're going to see a pass. Pro Drifter to the inside. Van Panther's going to have to sweep it round. But not quite. And that's the closest he's come, and it's definitely a warning sign. I think the hazard lights will be on in the back of Pro Drifter's mind. Just to how much of a threat now the Van Panther really is. But the top 4 still separated by just over 2 seconds. We're only 12 laps into the race. It's been remarkable so far. And Pro Drifter still effectively doing a 2-car tandem now with Acer Acola. He's all over the rear end, and Acer got a bit wide. Pro surely can't try and move through turn 10. He's going to be very selective now where he overtakes. I think he knows that turn 1 will be the next realistic opportunity, providing he gets a good run out of here. He's in the dirty air, of course. That's going to cost him. Van Panther got a bit of a wobbly exit, but not as wobbly as the man in P4 anxiety. And Pro just unfortunately not close enough this time round. He knows what's at stake now. We're approaching the halfway stage, just a couple more laps till we are. Acer Acola through the chicane, still leading strong over Pro Drifter and Van Panther. Lounge is still catching anxiety. We'll give you an update on lap times in just a moment's time. Luke Sky in 10th, Mr. Jolly 11th, Andrik Passer in 12th, G. Cortese out of the race, and Seacom as well those guys will be watching from the pit lane, unfortunately. And with Van Panther now starting to attack Pro Drifter, it's really going to be a case of, can Van Panther sort this one out? Can he get a bit catalyst in this battle? Does he have the potential to do it? I think it's going to be a question on everyone's lips right now. You couldn't really predict the winner of this race and be 100% certain the bookies would be having a whale of a time if you can take open bets on this race. Through turn number 10 and into turn 11 they go once again, and still Pro Drifter cannot pull alongside. Let's take a look at lap times then. Ace Recola's going to move his way over the start-finish line to start his 14th attempt at 29, a 1:38.9, a 1:38.9 again by Pro, a 1:38.6 from the man in third, and a 1:38.9 from Anxiety, a 1:38.7 from Lounger as well. AJ6 slightly off the pace of 1:39.8, but the top five all very relatively close pace indeed, only a few tenths apart overall, making for a very exciting climax to this championship. We always see it, we saw it with our last championship as well, that this really can be the catalyst here. We've seen some brilliant finales here in the past, but it's never going to improve. Don't forget, if you want to get involved in a championship like this as well, all you've got to do is go to simraceway.com and sign up. It's completely free to sign up. You get all the free tracks, including our latest Area 51 at the moment. So that's brand new, free, our latest release, Area 51, so you don't want to miss that. Give yourself a bit of a spooky experience here right as summer starts to set in. Move out of springtime, but Van Panther looking a bit more dangerous now in the back of Pro Drifter. Oh, and look how close they got then. Van Panther almost capitalised, and instead it's going to give Anxiety and Lounger a chance. Surely the three are absolutely tied together. It's like someone's put them on a scale electric round, just held the button down. They're all going round, pretty much touching each other at the same pace. And now this is where, unfortunately for Van Panther, it's going to fall apart, because Pro's going to get the biggest advantage. Van Panther's just going to get the dirty scrappings that Pro Drifter's given off. It's almost like a peasant feeding its pets, isn't it? But Pro Drifter's still holding on, and Van Panther still proving to be a very looming threat at the moment. And side by side, almost there was Pro Drifter. He's getting closer, isn't he, as they bounce over the curbs. They got a lot of height after that, that's for sure. But I really don't want to call this. I think it's going to come down to a pit stop at the end of the day. It really will come down to it. If a driver decides to go in the pits, it's going to be all end all. Someone's going to have to try and risk staying out, and I've got a feeling it'll be Van Panther or it'll be Anxiety. I think Ace is smart enough to pit in. He doesn't really have a lot to lose. It's his championship to lose, providing Pro Drifter doesn't come away with a win. So why not go for a pit? Just play it safe, let the other guys take the big risks, and boy oh boy will it be a big risk. As a trio head their way up towards turn 10 yet again, through that vicious left-hander and in towards the final couple of corners. Ace diving in head first, still followed by Pro Drifter. And they'll bounce over the curb. Bit of a jiff from Van Panther as he tries to pull alongside. First pit stop of the afternoon comes from Lounger. So Lounger pulls his way into the pit lane for his first and what should be his only scheduled time. Here comes AGO6. Lounger is on his way out, and I think he should come out into a relatively clear track. Blee Fatality, the man who would be his nearest competitor's P7, and I don't think he's going to get close enough to prove to be, well, a hindrance, I'd say, at this stage. No, he's not. He's a bit too far away, unfortunately, for him, and none of the cars decide to pit, so bizarre that Lounger's our only stop at that lap. But Asa Ricolla's still leading. We've got to watch as they peel off on that final corner. The driver potentially starts calling a bluff. It's still a strong possibility. You never know what these drivers have got planned. A quick run through of the order then as it stands before we get towards the final few corners and decide who's pitting in and who's not. Asa Ricolla still leads on lap 16 from Pro Drifter, who's challenging all the way. Van Panther, Xvarty P4, AGO 6 5th, Lounger 6th, Blue Fatality P7, 8th is Fraggle, 9th Damagico, 10th Luke Sky, 11th Jolly, 12th Andre Passer, and out of the race are Seacombe and Cortese, but over the line and still not stopping are your top four, separated by just 3.7 seconds here. Pro Drifter almost sent a dart up the inside, didn't he? But up through turn number 2 again, and old Pro Drifter's got a Goliath run. This could be the one. Asa Ricolla has to defend the inside. He's pushing in wide, and Van Panther is watching on very, very carefully. And this, I think, is going to be one of the most thrilling climaxes we've ever had here in Simraceway. Pro Drifter could be the catalyst. Van Panther could pick up the pieces. Xvarty could be a winner. But I'll tell you what, just place your bets right now. Let us know in the comments who you think is going to win, or what your opinions are on the race so far. Let us know in the YouTube comments or on our Twitters at Simraceway or at Liam J Sim Racing. It's going to be a very, very intense race indeed. Top Gear Daniel says, so much of a close race. It really has been a thriller at this stage. It's only going to get better as well, I'm sure. You can just feel like it's the calm before the storm, and that could have been it because Van Panther makes a moment and he's trying to cover from Xvarty. And Xvarty's very, very unlucky there to not put it past him. But no, they don't. And again, none of the top four decide to stop. So intriguing indeed. Let's see if anyone else is going to stop actually, because I don't think anyone stopped since Lounger's maiden pit stop, the first one of the entire race. Pro Drifter now all over Ace, and this should be another good run, or at least the best chance he's had. Let's wait and see. And he's going to go to the inside. No, Asa Ricolla's done a very stern job of holding his line here today. Good effort indeed. Van Panther P3 still providing to be a little bit of a challenge though. After a little moment going into turn number 10, he recovered quite well, but nonetheless lost a handful of time. But Van Panther's going to be the man to watch Pro Drifter go for an attempt, I think, because Pro Drifter's running out of time. We've seen this before. Echoes of Sonoma ring very vividly in the memories and the hearts of Simraceway fans and drivers alike right about now. Well, Pro Drifter's in the lead. We missed our taking a look at what was going on through the rest of the field. And Pro Drifter's made a pass for the lead. Asa back to the inside. He can't make it stick. And a great pass. We just saw the end of it going out of turn number 9. Pro Drifter sails to the lead. Asa doesn't pull off a stop. None of the top 4 do now. So Pro Drifter has got a chance at a championship. He has to win though. He has to stay there for the next 11 laps. Top 4 just watching on. They all want a bit of the action right now as they start to separate out a little bit. But Pro Drifter with a big pass, and just I think I put a commentator's curse on it saying how long it took him back at Sonoma out of nowhere. A great dive down the middle, and it really did make for a big moment indeed. Pro in the lead, still looking strong after the big pass. But now what can Van Panther do from this situation? Can he maybe start to fly forward a little bit now? Is there time for him to make up for lost time? And again, Anxiety loose going out of that corner. That's the second time we've seen that today. Apart from that, there's no other battles on the circuit, so this really is the main bulk of the action right now, what you're seeing on screen. Well, you'd rather not tune anywhere else, would you? It's been brilliant and breathtaking so far. But in towards final corner once again. Asa O'Connor now starting to look strong. He's had to switch out the defensive playbook for the offensive one. Let's just wait and see. Through the final corner and through turn 2 now. Asa O'Connor starting to maybe feel momentum. We've seen this before. It's all about the pressure that this man can induce on his opponents. Time after time after time. We've seen him just get closer and closer, start doing the body punch method and just, you know, start going for the moves, the little moves, or inching out, maybe opening up a slipstream, getting your car some clean air under the bonnet, and then ducking back in again, letting Pro Drifter know you're there. And then go for the one big knockout punch as soon as he starts flailing, and that's when you go for the manoeuvre, but he's only got 10 laps left to do it now. Pro Drifter doing a very good job right now. Oh, and Asa O'Connor trying round the outside, and Pro Drifter holding on with everything he's got. And this is where it's going to get intense, isn't it? We still don't know who's going to pit or no. They're approaching a bit of traffic. That's the last thing that Pro Drifter needs right now. 9 laps remaining here at Watkins Glen. Over the line they go. Pro Drifter tries to get to the inside, but he just can't do it at the moment. Let's just see what Asa can do, because right now it's going to be a very, very intense few laps for Asa O'Connor. Pro Drifter's been in the lead. He's done it last race. This will be his second victory in a row in this championship. They both would have conceived half victories each. They would have ended up tied on points, I believe. Oh, Asa's lit the pit button. Is that fate or no? Oh, Pro has as well. As has Van Panther, as has Anxiety. They've all got the same idea. So he's one of them. Gonna maybe try something else or wait an extra lap. It's gonna be crucial. Oh, and out of the way goes the lap car. Very respectful driving there by the man right at the back of the field, by Undrik Pass. That was there, just getting his car way out of the way, making sure he doesn't intervene with the battle, which is very respectful and sometimes hard to find today in the modern era of sim racing. Oh, but now Asa O'Connor trying to go to the inside, but not quite there. He wants to get in the pits first, and you can see why. Going to get much better drive out of there. I think Pro Drifter struggled a little. But now into the final corner. Will they pit? Will anyone try and stay out and risk an extra lap? They do, they all do. And the only one to come in is Van Panther from P3. So, very bizarre situation and string of events here. Lap 22 out of 29, still all to play for. And now Pro to the inside. I think he's gone a bit too wide coming out of there, that's for sure. As they make their way into the chicane once again. Asa O'Connor still chasing. And run down of the order so far as Van Panther leaves the pit lane. He's in P6. Fatality's going to overtake him, I'm assuming, to P7. So yeah, I think Fatality not going to be too much of a threat, but nonetheless, just there in case there's a slight error on those cold tyres. Fregel P8, Damagico 9th, Luke Sky in 10th, and not pitting in there actually. 11th Jolly, 12th Andre Pass, 13th, and out of the race is G Cortesi. That was 11 laps ago on lap number 9 that we saw him retire. Seacombe 14th. Pro, Acer, Anxiety, AGO6, Lounger as well. Let's just see what is going on at the front of the field though still, because Pro Drifter is starting to make a few errors. Nothing too major, nothing too sinister, but just a few almost warning signs for Acer McCullough, so there is a chance there, and you know it. Is anyone else going to pit though? Because it was weird, all four of the cars in contention for the win had their pit lights lit at the same time. Now they're all gone, and now none of them are stopping as they approach that number 23. But down in towards they go again. Gorgeous chicane, the one that's seen so much action, and where Anxiety made that error in the BMWs, I believe, at Watkins Glen that time. But Acer has not been as close or as dominant to Pro Drifter in terms of battling as Pro Drifter was when he was on the attacking side of things. Acer O'Collar's been maybe a little bit more distant, just waiting for the opportunity to come to him, as opposed to forcing it. You can't really blame him, he's still got a lot to play for, but Pro Drifter would have won 2 out of 4 races. Acer would have won 2 out of 4 races. It's going to be an extremely good finisher. Final few corners we go until we head into the final 5 or 6 laps. I just can't really imagine how big this is going to be right now for a few of these guys. We've got some good talent coming through here, the ranks in Simraceway. And with AGO6 up to P4, he's only 9 seconds in front of Lounger, so Lounger should be able to be looking to pass him within the next few laps or so. Does anyone pit? No, they don't again. Lap 24 gets underway. On their way up the hill once again. Acer still very much alive. A nice fling in there, trying to get speed, but it didn't quite work. It was a nice idea, just trying a different variety now. They're trying to... I'd say the idea what he's trying to do is maybe just outwit Pro Drifter or Pro Drifter 1000 there. Just take a bit of a wider line, panic Pro Drifter into an, oh, what's he doing there? Maybe I've got to change my line. You never know what Acer O'Collar's got up his sleeve next. One of the most composed drivers you will ever meet. Always capable of doing something extraordinary in the least extraordinary moments. And that's what made him such a success earlier as well, and why he's got so many wins under his name. But through turn 1, well, they'll be approaching road time shortly, but I think now we've got to really take an idea to appreciate what the championship picture could look like, because it's going to be Pro Drifter that takes a whopping 70 points here today if he stays where he is. So he's currently on the 136, so the 70 he gains will see him on 206, beating Acer O'Collar by 4 points, and then obviously Acer O'Collar will get hit as well, but with the 3 drop rounds, Pro Drifters would be essentially in lead of the championship hunt. Just wait and see how all these things pan out. Lap 25 underway. 5 laps remaining here at Watkins Glen. Still, Acer O'Collar or Pro Drifter showing no signs of wanting to dive into the pit lane. Now into the chicane again. Anxiety also not that far, still 6 seconds away. But if you noticed as well, since Van Panther dived into the pit lane, the Anxiety's not been able to maintain that same sort of pace. He hasn't had the draft from Van Panther keeping him within the chase of a race victory. Because there's now that gap, he hasn't been able to slipstream his way forward and to gain those vital few tenths of a second that the other two cars are gaining off each other. And unfortunately for well, I say unfortunately, still in third position, which is a very good result indeed. But I do think that there's still a lot left to give in this race, and we are not seeing, well, we're only seeing the start of the action that's left to come here, I think. Over the line goes Mr. Jolly P11, will be the next man to be overtaken by Pro Drifter and company. Pro Drifter still looking strong as he heads into the final 4 laps of this race. Lap 26 now, well underway. 1:37.9 to 1:37.8, so Acer O'Connor was actually faster that time round. AJ6 P4, Lounger still P5. A big moment there for Acer O'Connor. He's going to struggle, I think, to do anything to Pro Drifter, let alone overtake him. He's going to need a big couple of laps now to draw close, because Pro Drifter will feed off that. He'll feel the momentum and start pushing forward again. We're now down in towards the carousel, and Acer O'Connor dropping back a bit, 1.3 seconds. P3 AJ6 running extremely strong in P4, and I predicted earlier that these two would be pretty close together. They're now 3rd and 4th, so I predicted them as 6th and 7th, so nonetheless, still very competitive drivers. Lounger rounds out the top 5, Van Panther pushing in P6. It's interesting to see which drivers have pitted and which ones haven't. Lounger has now worked himself in front of Van Panther because of Van Panther's late pit stop. But still, Blue Fatality is not only, well, only 2 seconds away from Van Panther, so that's bizarre, because Fatality, if you recall, came out of the pits about 5 seconds away. So it's actually gained a little there, and we're seeing, obviously, the draft effect is going to be quite strong. The final stages of this one as Pro Drifter starts on lap number 27 of 29. With Acer O'Connor still very much alive, chasing him. The championship will be wide open after this. I'd love to see it go down to a sudden death duel between the two of them and see them both race 1 3-lap sprint. That would be utterly remarkable. As they loop their way around, down into the chute once again, AGO6 still looking strong in P4, 9 seconds in front of Lounger. Fatality with a 1:39.5, 3/10 quicker than Van Panther. So Fatality, obviously running on a much heavier tank, will have a lot lighter car because he'll be on next to no fuel, whereas Van Panther may have stocked up half a race worth. He's still trying to burn a lot of it off. So Fatality will have the lighter car in theory. Whether you can put that into practice or no is another issue. We'll have to wait and see. Through the chicane there you go, still only 3 seconds separating, but if we weren't, well, learnt one thing here today, it's that truly catching is one thing and passing is another entirely. Down in towards what could be one of the most pivotal points in this race. Turn number 1, the penultimate lap of the race. 2.7 seconds between the race leader and the championship leader. Pro Drifter leads Acer O'Connor at the very late stages in this one. Acer O'Connor now just maybe starting to build a little bit of pressure. This is where he is. We said so many times before, he is the ultimate clutch driver. We've seen him win in these situations. The final lap of the race. Can he do it again here though? Pro tries to hold on. The wheels have been coming out. They've got a bit of traffic as Andre passes. It's Mr. Jolly, I beg your pardon. The race winner from last weekend. So Jolly moves out of the way. And I'm sure we'll still be feeling pretty jolly after that one, if you pardon the pun. I'm not too sure how many times I can get away with using that pun before he probably messages me and gets quite aggravated, so I'll try not to use it once again. But his blue fatality has dropped a long way back now behind Lounger. It was a few seconds. He's had an incident. No, I'm telling a lie. He's actually in front of Van Panther. That's what's happened. So he's passed Van Panther. I'm not sure if Van Panther's had an error or fatality's passed him, but 6 seconds now the gap between those two. And as Pro Drifter makes his way through the final corner, Asa Recola, the closest he's been, the final lap of the race, about to get underway. This is what the edge of your seat was made for. The championship hangs in the balance. Asa Recola chasing, Pro Drifter defending. He has to win to claim the championship, and Asa Recola has just got to stay with him. It all depends on this. If Asa Recola wins, it's game over. A bit of a moment there for the championship leader as well. At the current stage, he may not be the championship leader for too long though. Just wait and see if they go through the chicane now. And in towards the shoot again, and Asa Recola with a bit of oversteer. Pro holding on brilliantly right now. He's done such a good job this afternoon. He didn't get pole position, but he may just go one better and go for the entire race victory. Fatality starts his final lap now. Fregel holding on from the Magica. That's about you want to take a look for after this one in 8th and 9th. But all attention, all eyes are on this. The edge of your seat was designed for this right now as Asa Recola's onto the grass again, just trying to push a bit too hard. He's running out of corners. Can Pro Drifter pull off an upset? He goes a bit wide. There's traffic up ahead. How crucial is this going to be? Through turn number 9. Ace is getting close, but he goes a bit wide. And the back end kicks out. And I think the Pro Drifter may have done it. Pro Drifter may have just thrown a spanner in the works. Yes, he has surely around the final corner, unless there's a very late twist in the tail. The car lines up beautifully. Pro Drifter wins. He wins the final round. And the championship is now potentially his. A big upset. Asa Recola finishes second. That move a long time ago. What a drive by Pro Drifter. Remarkable. Anxiety is back on the podium as well. A great third place drive there for him. Fourth place will be AGO6. But what a run. What a fantastic run by Pro Drifter. We've got to take a look back though. What happened between Fregel and DiMagico? These two guys still battling. They've still got a good 30 seconds of racing left. DiMagico currently in front at the moment. Fregel getting closer through turn number 9. Through turn number 8, I beg your pardon. Up in towards turn number 9 now. Late braking by DiMagico. Slightly more conservative by Fregel. Truly remarkable scenes here as Pro Drifter will be fist pumping and wiping the sweat from his forehead. But through the final corner is going to be a pretty remarkable opportunity now as Fregel cannot do it. DiMagico takes it to run through the order then. It was Pro Drifter that won in the most remarkable of circumstances. Asa Recola took second, third place was Anxiety, fourth place for AGO6, fifth was Lounger, sixth Fatality, seventh Van Panther, eighth place for DiMagico, ninth place for Fregel, 10th for Luke Sky, 11th Mr. Jolly, 12th place for Andric Passer, and out of the race were Cortese, Seacombe, and that was it. But in all honesty, what a fantastic way to end the weekend. A brilliant, an absolute brilliant race that was. We saw a four-way battle for the lead develop throughout the midway point. And up until Van Panther's pit stop, which I'm just reading on the chat now, he didn't seem too happy with. He was told he had to pit, and he took that advice, and in turn that did throw away what could have been a race victory. How different would that race have been if they'd have all stayed together? It doesn't matter now, because the championship may belong to Pro Drifter 1000. Thank you so much to our events manager Kosako for making this entire championship possible. A brilliant way to serenade us off into the month of March and get us ready for the month of April. Again, thank you to our cameraman and champion of the champion of the 500 to 900 skill quad, I should say. No Fear C, so better known as Carlos. Great drive earlier on, and some even better camera work as well. So you guys for watching the stream and to subscribing to the YouTube channel. Don't forget we will have Hot Lap Hump Day coming to you with some potentially more Sim Raceway roulette and your top 5 moments of the week. So be sure to upload your finest Sim Raceway moments, whether they're crashes, overtakes, or some even better drifting skills than what we've seen already. Just send them in, upload them to your YouTube channel, and we'll do the rest. From myself, Liam Jenkins, we'll see you next weekend for another brilliant weekend of action. See you then.